This is the fastest way to raise your credit score. People have asked me, Mike, do trade lines really work? Well, on today's episode, we're going to cover all the do's and the don'ts and if it can truly help raise your credit score. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike the Credit Guy, the biggest. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you find out every time we drop new content, you're gonna hear about it first. Now, if you haven't already, you need to hit that little like button. That way this video gets out to way more people, okay? In case you didn't know, we talk about everything credit on this channel. I am the owner and founder of Limitless Culture. We created the most advanced DIY program in the industry. At $55.99 a month, our system will create custom Metro to attack letters, attacking all the negative items on your credit report and the personal information that's not accurate. Okay, our system is going to create your custom letters, email them to you, you print them out, certified mail, and you're done. It's just that simple. You don't have to join any archaic Facebook groups, do any master courses, or read any modules. We call all that nonsense out. You don't have to do any of that. Link is always going to be in the description for all of our services and for the most advanced DIY program in the industry. So what exactly is a trade line? This is what everyone always asks me, okay? So a trade line is typically like a credit card, an auto loan, or a mortgage that includes the details like the date of the account open, the current payment status, and whether or not you've paid on time or been delinquent. That is the true definition of a trade line. So credit cards being the top #1 selling trade line. Every single one of these trade lines is super valuable to anybody's credit profile, but the credit profile has to be prepped and ready. So what essentially happens is someone can purchase one of these trade lines from somebody that sells trade lines. So let's cover all the do's and the don'ts and what you should know about every single different type of trade line that you can potentially purchase. Now, another type of trade line is an installment loan, a car loan, sometimes mortgages. I have seen and heard of people that sell installment loan trade lines. Now, I've never known it to actually work, so I cannot say for 100% certain that yes, it works. I know for a fact. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. But I know that there are people that do sell them. How? I don't know, okay? Because it's much easier to sell a trade line like this than it is to sell a trade line for like an auto loan or mortgage. How is that even possible? I'm not going to go into that because that gets really deep, okay? But understanding that there are so many people out there that sell trade lines, I want you to know this little tidbit. A credit repair company cannot sell you trade lines. It is 100% illegal because you're essentially saying that you can alter their credit score. Anytime you're making any type of those claims of, I can get your credit score to here, I can do this with your credit profile, they're lying and they're breaking the law. There are laws in place to help protect consumers, and that is one of the big ones. Some of these big credit repair guys have been taken down because they were, in fact, selling trade lines to their clients, which is 100% illegal. So no, don't ask me if you can buy these from me because you can't. The #1 place that you should always go to get a trade line is going to be a friend or a family member, because at the end of the day, it has to be someone that you trust, okay, because you're giving them personal information. You have to give them your date of birth, you have to give them your social and your full name. You don't want to just hand that out to just anybody. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're doing it with a family member or someone that you really trust. And that other person has to trust you also, because there are caveats to all of this and it can turn into a dangerous situation if it is not done properly. Or someone just rips you off, or the person who's allegedly buying it rips the seller off, because that can happen also. There are 3 different ways that a trade line can potentially help your credit profile. It's very important to understand how and what it does, because what you're essentially doing is you're trying to manipulate your credit profile to make it look better, whether it be for a loan, a car loan, a mortgage, a credit card, whatever it may be. You're trying to add something to your credit profile. It's really like cheating, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. You're taking your F and you're turning it into an A potentially, but the big caveat about this is you don't know how your credit profile is going to react until it happens. But if you have any negatives on your credit profile, you do not want to add a trade line to it until you have a very minimal amount of negative items or none at all. Preferably, you want to do it when there's no negative items whatsoever, because your credit profile will not react the same as it would like if you add a trade line to my credit profile. I have 0 negative items. My score is possibly going to shoot to the moon if I add a trade line that has a large credit limit and a lot of age, meaning it's been open for more than 5 to 10 years. That's going to have huge impact on a credit profile. But if you have negative items on your credit profile and you add a trade line, the negative item is acting like a ball and chain. It's going to hold your score down and you won't see the full benefits of adding a trade line. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That way you find out every time we drop new content, you're gonna hear about it first. And also, drop some comments in the comment section of any specific things you want me to talk about, any questions you have about these credit cards. Don't be afraid to drop any data points. Also, if you have these credit cards, something I didn't cover. So everybody can help each other build a community here, okay? And hit that bell notification. That way you find out every time I go live, you're gonna hear about it first. Okay. Now, if you're looking to work on your credit, we are a full service credit management company. We created the most advanced DIY program in the industry, $55.99 a month. Our system will create custom Metro 2 attack letters, attacking negative, inaccurate, incomplete items on your credit reports, including personal information. We'll email them to you. Our system will email them to you. You print them, you mail them out certified mail, and you're done. It's just that simple. You don't have to learn any crazy modules, learn any master classes, or join any antiquated Facebook groups. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you exclusive access into my new app that anybody that joins the DIY program is going to get for free, okay? It's included in the program once you join the DIY program. Links are in the description. We also offer a full-service Metro 2 attack program, a full-service pre-litigation program that is designed to get you a free legal review, and an identity theft program, also for people with identity theft issues. Link is always going to be in the description. And as always, last part's the most important. The number one first way that it can help your credit profile is by adding age, okay? Now, when you add an authorized user account or a trade line, you want it to have a lot of age. The more age, the higher the impact. So as an example, if you only have 2 years of age of credit on your credit profile, that's why your credit score is not as high. But if you take a 2-year credit profile and you add a credit card that's been open for more than 5 years, now you have over 7 years of credit history on your credit profile. That is high impact because at the end of the day, age of credit is how people get to the 800 credit score. The number one mistake that people make is they go into the credit repair process and they say, hey man, can I just have my mom, or my dad or my aunt, my uncle, my brother and sister add me to an authorized user account? That's going to help my credit, because that's what really I need. No, you need to clean the negatives off your credit profile. Focus on that first. And then once you get the majority of them off or all of them off, then you can move into adding a trade line. You want to go with a general rule of 5 or more years. So the credit card has to be open for more than 5 years. And you want the credit limit to be more than $5,000. Also, there's a second one that I like. I call it the 10 and 10 rule. If you can get a trade line that is 10 years of age and over a $10,000 credit limit, that's super high impact. The reason why this is super high impact, it's because you're adding 2 different factors to your credit profile. Utilization is the balances that are being reported. If you add a $10,000 line of credit to a credit profile that just doesn't have that much line of credit, then you're boosting that section. That is 30% of your credit score. Now, payment history is 35% of your credit score. So if you add something that has 5 years of payment history, that is 5 years of on-time payment history. That's super impact. You're just instantaneously injecting that into your credit profile. And this is why it has a high impact, and it is super helpful, and it can raise your credit score. One of the biggest do's, which is part 2, is that you can have somebody add you to a regular credit card like a Discover, an Apple card, a Citi card, a Chase card, any of those credit cards, Barclays, Capital Ones. I'm just giving you examples, okay? If you add somebody to that account as an authorized user, they're going to get the credit limit and the age of credit from when that card was opened. So as an example, like your grandma, she has a relationship with Capital One for 25 years. That's huge impact. And usually they have a really big credit limit to go with it. So this is why it's super helpful. But here's the big caveat. Never, ever have yourself added to a charge card. A charge card like American Express is not going to help your credit profile because it does not have a credit limit. And American Express explicitly does not give you the age of credit. You will start to build age of credit from the moment you're added to the charge card, but again, you get no credit limit. The credit limit is going to help your utilization, and it's going to also help your credit profile. But if there's no credit limit to add, then what are you doing? Nothing. If there's no age of credit, what are you doing? Nothing. So I see people make this big mistake. They go after, I want to get added on to an American Express. No, it's not going to help your credit profile. Now, what it could potentially help is that now you are technically in the American Express family or in the Capital One family, Discover family, all of these. This can potentially help you get approved, but it doesn't guarantee it, but it can help you get potentially approved. So in case you haven't noticed, there is a button underneath my video that says donate. That is for Nicole's wish. Put it up on the screen right here, okay? So now this is pretty awesome what we've been doing with this. I started a fundraiser to help donate to Nicole's wish that is granting wishes for children with critical illnesses. Now this is pretty awesome, whether it be $1, $5, $2, or some of you big ballers, bust out your wallets. This is your time to flex your money on Make-A-Wish, okay? This is pretty awesome. So what Nicole's Wish does is they take all that money and they donate it into Make-A-Wish, and they help grant wishes. Now, I'll put it up right here so you can see it. We have already granted 5 wishes. We have 7 wishes that are pending and 12 wishes that have been adopted. That's pretty awesome. So anything you can do is going to be pretty awesome. I mean, what more could we ask for? We're going to help make some kids' wishes come true. One of the negatives that people do not talk about with Tradelines is if you had a negative account with American Express. Let's give this as an example, okay? You defaulted on an American Express credit card, and then you decide to have your wife or your friend, or you decide to purchase a trade line with American Express from somebody you know, okay? American Express can kick you off of that credit card because guess what? They don't trust you anymore. You've defaulted. They don't want you anywhere near their credit cards. People always ask me, how can we fix this? You pay them the money back. It's just that simple. It doesn't mean it's going to fix the issue with your credit, but it can potentially fix the issue with the credit card company, and now they may potentially trust you again. Doesn't mean that they will. Remember that. I have seen people pay them, and they're like, sorry, we got our money, thanks, have a nice day. And I'm not talking about just American Express. I'm talking about all credit card companies. It's up to them to decide on whether or not they're going to let you back in the door. It's just that simple. So if you defaulted and then you go and get yourself put on as an authorized user, they can kick you off in probably less than 30 days, we've seen sometimes. Also, as an example, let's say I add you onto my Discover card as an authorized user. I'm adding this trade line to your credit profile. And then all of a sudden, I max out this credit card. That's going to jack up my utilization and your utilization. The balances are going to actually report and hurt your credit utilization also. If I get a late payment on this Discover card, guess what? You got a late payment on the Discover card also. Now, the quickest way to fix this is going to be for you to call Discover or the credit card company, as an example again, and ask them to remove you as an authorized user. Or drop it in the comments section and let me know if you want me to cover the legal part of how they cannot report this information, and you could potentially sue them and win. I know this is crazy and people are going to say I'm wrong when I say this, but at the end of the day, they're only supposed to report the information from your authorized user credit card, not what's happening on the main account holder's credit card, but it happens all the time. So again, if you want me to make a full video on covering that, drop it in the comment section. Let me know, okay? Because it's really juicy. It is a serious gem, okay? Now, also, it's very important to understand you can easily pull yourself off of this situation, again, by removing yourself as an authorized user. But remember, if the person defaults completely and it's, let's say it just charges off and now your credit is destroyed, well, then you have a potential situation on your hands. How do you handle that? That's where that next video is going to come into play, okay? I'm not going to go into it in this video because it's very long, but they're not allowed to report that information on your credit profile because you are just the authorized user. You're not responsible for the balances that are owed or any of the charges. except for your card, okay? Now, technically, you're still not even responsible for that because you're just an authorized user. You're not the main account holder, but it's responsible to report to your credit profile whatever happens with that specific credit card that is in your name. Now, also, a very important thing for you to understand and know is if you're added on as an authorized user, sometimes, not all the time, you may need to add that person's address to your credit profile. Because what happens is if the addresses don't match for whatever reason, sometimes the banks will not allow it to report as an authorized user account. We call it an address merger. So you can add it to your credit profile just by going to your actual credit report like Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. Go into your account, make a free account, and then add that as your new address, okay? Your new address. And that can help you merge the files to make sure that it actually reports properly. Because the biggest problem with Tradelines that we've seen is sometimes it just won't report properly. Meaning it can report to all 3 credit bureaus, great, you're actually doing it right, okay? Or it only reports to 2, or it only reports to 1. It's not the responsibility of the actual credit card company to report this information properly. They don't care. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Some people have purchased Tradelines from some people and it didn't work, or they feel like they were scammed. It could have been either or, okay? You're never gonna know because at the end of the day, there's no 100% guarantee that it will work. But as an example, if I'm helping someone in my family and we have the same last name, it's not really a big deal, okay? But if you're constantly adding people to certain credit cards that are different, they're in different states, they're in different countries, okay? Stuff like that can send a red flag to the actual credit card company, and that's why you need to do the address merger, okay? But again, it's never guaranteed because it may potentially not work and you don't even get the credit file that you need and you don't get it added to your credit profile, sorry. You don't get it added to your credit profile and it doesn't work. That's just the cold hard facts of it. So a lot of times you see that a lot of these people that sell Tradelines actually have like, you got to pay them through PayPal, Zelle, or Cash App, which I highly do not recommend unless you know that person and you trust them or they come highly vetted by somebody that's already used them. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just send somebody some money and just hope for the best. Now here's the final caveat, okay? Now let's say for instance, I add someone to my Discover card. They become an authorized user, okay? Now generally speaking, if you allow someone to become an authorized user on one of your credit cards, don't give them the credit card. Unless it's your kid, your wife, or something like that, that makes sense. But if it's your friend or someone you don't really trust, do not give them the credit card. There have been cases where someone will call, and we're not going to say that Discover did this, but we're just giving it as an example, okay? But let's say they call Discover Bank, say, hey, send me a card. I lost my card, please. And they're like, you're just an authorized user. They're not supposed to send or make any modifications by what the actual authorized user says, but there have been instances where they did, and someone got the credit card and then ran it up, and then guess what? The main account holder is responsible for those charges, and they added them on as an authorized user. Now the main account holder is pretty much screwed because now they got to explain to the credit card company, I didn't authorize them to do that. They stole the credit card. Now you're like, but you added them on. You had their social, their date of birth. You had all their information. Explain to us what's going on. That can create a very big problem for you and the credit card company. So yes, a Tradeline / authorized user account can have a positive benefit to your credit profile, but there are do's and don'ts. And I hope you learned a lot about this because there's a lot of confusion about how Tradelines can help you, okay? So if there's something specific you want me to talk about, drop it in the comments section, drop some emojis in there so we get this video going. But I hope that we were able to educate you as much as we possibly can because it's all about you, our subscribers, and thank you so much for watching. And make sure to watch one of these next videos because they are recommended by YouTube. And as always, subscribe to increase your credit score.